TalkBox for sign. You're listening to the TalkBox. Let's talk about it. Talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Yeah, you're listening to the TalkBox for sign. You're listening to the TalkBox. Let's talk about it. Talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
You going one more time?
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
You guys. All right, you guys. It's your girl Sonia G here on the TalkBox. Welcome. You know what we say? Every day above ground is a good day. We got another day, another opportunity to get some things right that we didn't have quite right on yesterday. So I am excited. I know you guys are excited. So before we even go any further, you need to pick up the phone and call somebody and tell them that Sonia G and Earl and Dr. Gresham is on with part 2. I survived. And so I'm just glad to have you guys here in the place. How are you?
All right.
Doing great.
Good
Great
evening.
day today.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, it is a good day. And with all the stuff going on in the atmosphere, Republicans, Democrats, the school shootings and all of that. But when I think about on an individual basis, when I can say I survived, when I can hear you say you survived, that y'all survived, it gives us hope.
Yes.
And so I think that that's what we're missing in this era. But I am glad to say that we do got somebody championing and giving us a little bit of hope, a little bit of joy. Woo! It is much needed. But you guys, if y'all have any questions or comments, y'all can give us a call at 615-893-1450. So we're going to dive right in again. If y'all missed the show last week, you need to go back and look at it. It was really good knowing that, well, one thing, Earl dropped dead, and I didn't know that part. But God saw fit, right?
Yep.
And then Dr. Gresham, Lord, going through COVID and still couldn't get in. You know, you were supposed to have a little bit of crowd though.
Hey, you know, that was a real humbling. It was really humbling there, but they were getting ready to see another side of me. They have to let me in.
Right. You about to sound like Kamala when Kamala said last week, somebody break in my house, I won't shoot. But anyway, I want to dive into basically, we know from last week that you survived. We know your story. So what has changed even with you in your covenant, in your relationship since the heart transplant and you going through your ordeal?
What's changed for me? Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I haven't really looked at it as a change. Like I said, I told you last week, I'm walking in peace, and every step that I take, I'm grateful for. I understand that I realize now my decisions, I don't have final words. So even at 1%, I don't have the final word. So, but it wasn't like that. It was just that I was accepting where I was and keep walking. So my faith hasn't changed, and it's been the same since I was a kid. You know, it's a lot of stuff. I tell people I don't quote a whole lot of scriptures, but I remember the ones that my grandmother read to me.
Right.
So that brought me peace, and it got me through a lot of things in my life. To the point where I know the difference when my spirit is speaking to me. And I know the difference when I used to tell my group all the time, my business team, I said, you know, that's the problem with most people. and they don't. Some people don't realize that they have angels,
Mm.
and they get up and they start their day every day, go to work and do whatever they need to do, and then they come home complaining how bad their day was, or they didn't get this accomplished or that accomplished. That's because you left your angels at home. You didn't command them. The angels were there for us to command and send us forward. You know, every time we get on the road, we're supposed to pray, make our crooked road straight, and keep us from any hurt, harm, or danger. You know, if you say those things, you should believe those things. So why not say the same thing when you get your day started? You know, you command your angels to, you know, move those people that are not supposed to be in your way out of the way.
I'm gonna jump in right there for just a second, because you're talking about commanding your angels. I think that if we would realize how powerful and anointed your words are, because we were created in the image of God,
right?
And when God said, "Let there be," there was.
That's right.
And since we were created in His image, and then we need to start speaking life into ourselves and speaking life into each other,
Right.
Because it's so many times until you condition yourself to be positive, because of all the negativity in the world, it'll throw you off.
Right.
So time you wake up, instead of you saying thank you for allowing me another day, thank you that I'm on top of the dirt and the dirt ain't on top of me, you start saying I don't feel good, and then you wonder why you don't feel good all throughout the day.
That's right.
It is because we got a phone call on the show. Let's take it. Go ahead, caller. Caller.
Listen to a good word.
She said she just listening.
Oh, just listen to a good word. Who are we speaking with? Well, hi, Marsha. Thank you so very much for calling in. We appreciate you.
That's my sister from Baltimore, right? All right.
Thanks for calling in. Yes.
By being and recognizing who you are and the words that you have, the power that your words have. So I'm just listening and expressing me. Thank you.
Well, thank you so very much for calling in. So, Dr. Gresham, what has changed for you, for your marriage, for your relationship, with your own personal relationship with God, with what you went through?
Grateful. That's the word, is grateful. Sometimes we a lot of times we go through life, and after being married for 20, 30 years, you just take it for granted. They're going to be there the next day. Everything's going to be all right. We're planning for 30, we're planning for 35. But what you realize is every day is a gift, and you don't take it for granted. And I'm truly grateful. It has brought me closer in my walk. I mean, faith that's just the way I've lived my life. But actually seeing what happened and being there and really trusting God the whole time when there were things that were totally out of my control. Right. You know, being a physician, you're used to being in some control, having some control, right? And having situations where I would see things happen, and because I wasn't the doctor in charge, you know, I had to go through some processes to get things done. It was really frustrating, but it just, after a while, like he talked about our peace, we just, realized that we had to just put it in God's hands.
Well, I would imagine by you being a heart doctor and him needing a heart transplant, that you had to go through some psychological backing down too, sort of thing. Like you said, like being in charge. But the thing about it too is we're not in charge.
No, we're not.
Anyway.
Well, I've never looked at her as somebody who needed to be in charge. That's something new for me.
I'm talking about as a doctor.
Well, I'm talking about as a doctor. I've always seen her with her patients a more humble spirit and taking care of them, and not because I've seen doctors who I'm the great I am.
Oh yeah.
And I've never gotten that from her, and that's what I really.
I know she's
respect
good
her.
now though.
No, she good.
Yeah, she the
But
best in
I
the
ain't gonna-
business
I
now.
ain't gonna-
I'll toot the
I'm not
horn
gonna-
for her.
I'm not trying to knock her down. I'm trying to
I understand.
get her to. I'm trying to get you to understand that I've never seen that spirit
Mhm.
where you can't tell me I'm the doctor. I don't think any
No,
of her patients.
I
will
wasn't
have that.
even saying it like
Mhm.
that. It's like my knowledge and my by you being a great physician for real.
Mhm.
My knowledge, I want to be hands-on
Right.
because I know I'm good, is
Right.
what I mean.
Yeah.
I didn't mean
Okay.
it in a private
Oh,
way.
okay. All right.
You-
Well, yeah, I got you. I'm with you. I'm back.
Oh, done got a heart
Yeah.
transplant and now
I know.
Hey, well, you know, they told me that I would have some mood swings. They told me, he said, you're going to have mood swings, and you're going to, I've experienced those in the beginning.
Mhm.
And it's going to take some getting used to, and the whole process is going to take about 5 years and make it happen. Now, I haven't had any issues where I had to go back to the hospital or anything like that.
Yeah.
But you know, if I had to have some adjustments, you know.
I think you were telling me too that your tasting food changed a
My
little
tasting
bit.
food changed. I'm not a really a spicy or hot food
Mhm.
kind of guy. But when I came home, I wanted some hot Cheetos to the point where my lips were swollen.
Wow.
He sent me a
Hot
picture.
food.
His face was all orange.
Hot food.
Look like the Cheeto man on the commercial.
I couldn't do that. I had nothing to do but lay in the bed, and if you brought them to me, I'm gonna eat it.
Well,
I didn't like jalapenos. I was eating jalapenos. So
I tell you, that makes me wonder.
mhm.
Again, God created us in his image,
Mhm.
and we are mind, body, and spirit.
Mhm.
And it makes me wonder, since you took on another person's part of their body,
There you go.
the spirit of that person,
Mhm.
you know, it's just like this. That's why come we tell people to stay celibate until you get married, because two can become one. You know, that's how two become one, you know, when you're doing all that stuff. But I would imagine it's even greater when you got somebody else's heart pumping in your chest.
They asked, someone asked me, can't remember who it was, but I remember someone asked me, who do you think you have, a man's heart or a woman's heart? And I said, I feel it's a woman. So why do you feel it's a woman? I said, when I was laying in the hospital bed, I seen a silhouette. And they just, you know, they're like, you see the silhouette? I said, yeah. Why not? They're a spirit, you know. And I remember, you know, writing to the family so I can see what kind of person this individual was, but they have not reached back out to me. So, so I don't know. I don't know if it's male or female. I don't know.
Are you sensitive now?
I'm sensitive. Oh yeah, I get emotional.
More than before? You think it's more before?
I think so.
Well, if
I mean, I got a little emotional last week. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
When I was saying, I asked the Lord pick me back up. You know, I got real emotional. That's enough to get emotional about, especially when you start seeing stuff I was seeing. But it's a whole different realm out there that most people don't even know about yet. But
that's true.
You tell them put you down, you'll see it.
Right. And you have something you wanted to say?
Hello, everybody. I just wanted to say, I wanted to add on to the heart and hair transference is what I wanted to say. So just like, you know, if you're not celibate and you're being promiscuous, you pick up and receive things as women. But at the same time, we receive spiritual things. It's just like the Indian hair, you know, why a lot of individuals are shaving their hair because it is a spiritual cleanse, but it is a money booming billion plus, you know, market, but it is an energy transference as well. Not just something that is physical being received or released or something as far as cardiology.
And that's, you know, they've actually done a lot of research with that. Because even with him, he would say, I know I'm supposed to feel a certain way, but there's a disconnect between what I know and what I feel. And so that's something that we've been working through too.
I got that from my mom when I first came home. She said, you don't love me? I said, sure, I love you. What are you talking about? So you just seem so distant, you know. But I was like, it's not me, you know. You could say charge it to my head and my heart. Well, you just charge it to my heart. My head knows, but I remember, you know. But my heart has to get used to, you know. We got to get used to the spirit that's in there, and make sure that it, you know, this. I need to know what kind of person this person was, because I feel myself coming back into myself. Mm-hmm. I don't have those mood swings like I had before. A lot of people didn't see because I stayed away from a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I stayed in the house a lot. Mm-hmm. And I was very paranoid to go out because you couldn't just walk up to me, you know. And I closed my business because of that, because I couldn't remember all my clientele. Mm-hmm. And people would walk up to me and talk to me, and I'm just like, I have no idea who this person is. You know?
Did you lose any oxygen or anything, or is that just one of the side effects?
He had 4 surgeries. You know, we talked about the complications after his major surgery. The first one was right before he was supposed to go home. This was a Friday, and he sat on the side of the bed and he said, I felt something tear. Well, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, is his aorta tearing, or, you know, we having a major, you know, complication here. Then all of a sudden his heart rate went to 140, his blood pressure dropped to 60. And that was one of those times when I wanted to take control, but I didn't have control, only to make things happen and move a little quicker, because that was the first time that he bled into the sac around his heart.
Oh, wow.
So that happened a total of 4 times during his hospitalization. So when he talks about having to learn to walk again and the oxygen deprivation that could occur each one of those times that he had to go back to surgery. Yeah. So it's been, you know, you asked about our marriage, but it's been a rebuilding process, because there's
y'all got a do-over.
Yeah, because I'll say, don't you remember? And he said, gee, I told you, you know, I don't remember. So you have to fill in the blanks. Yeah.
So how long have you guys been married?
35 years.
Ooh, she put up with you with that.
I'm not hard to put up. I'm not hard to, you know, number one problem is y'all patients keep calling in the middle of the night, you know, and it's like up and leave, you know. After a while, you go, the page will go off. I say, all right, call me in the morning. She wasn't coming home, so it's but
just, you know, an adjustment.
Well, you know, it's yeah, I guess that's the best word.
Well, she probably had to adjust to you because you've been an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
I know entrepreneur. We grind.
Yeah, we grind.
You know,
when I had my opportunity turned when my son turned 5. I took care of my son the first 5 years, and then she was like, "I guess it's your turn." When he went to school, I was like, "It's gone."
So you was a stay-at-home dad.
Right, yeah. Thank you very much, because I got you. Oh, Mr. Mom. No, I'm a man taking care of his son. I'm a man taking care of his child. She tries sometimes. It's wonderful, because I don't have to allow another person to pour in what they believe into my child. Yeah. I was able to put that in my child.
Right. Especially at that age. Right. My husband and I did that for years, and our son, he turned 12 yesterday. Okay. And we still flip-flop and do the same.
Yeah.
That makes a world of difference.
It does make a difference.
Yeah, it makes a world of difference.
Well, I know that there's some blessing that you guys have been married that long. I'm gonna shift it for just a moment. When you talking about survival, now you got me thinking about the covenant and the marriage. And so many times nowadays we are in such a microwave society, so we give up so easily. And I don't care how great your marriage is. You're still 2 imperfect people trying to walk as one.
I never claimed myself to be perfect. Never have. You know, I'm not perfect. There's no way. There's no way I can be perfect.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. But nowadays, instead of people allowing their mate to be themselves and to grow at their pace, and I'm gonna go ahead and plug my husband right here. My husband have grown in God faster than anybody. I've been preaching for 20, 25 plus years. And I was almost one of those people at the
Mhm.
beginning of the marriage. I was like, I do something different.
Yeah.
But then God said, how patient
Mhm.
was I with you?
Mhm.
And so sometimes we need to make sure that we are survivors, that we're covenant survivors.
Right.
To be intentional,
Mhm.
to learn each other's love language,
Mhm.
to learn how to listen to one another. So I don't know. I'm a romantic.
There's a book about that.
The love languages, five
Yes.
love
The
languages.
5 love
Yes.
languages. That's great.
I couldn't
It's a
remember
great
the name
book.
of it.
Mm-hmm.
And Personality Plus is another book,
Mm-hmm.
because when we first got married, because of the way my schedule was, and you're running and you're like type AA, and he was more type B, because it was like, okay, you need to hurry up, we need to move quick, right? And it was frustrating. I was like, oh Lord, I don't know how this is gonna work. But then when I read the book and I realized that he's more what they call phlegmatic,
Mhm.
and I am more of what they call a caloric, where I got to take charge. Yes, I'm very, and it takes him a little longer. So then I said, okay, well, I'm just gonna have to learn
I'll
to
pay
tell him
attention to
things a
my
little,
steps.
give him a little more
I
time.
just don't
I like
don't
that,
jump
though.
into everything.
Pay attention to
which
your
I pay
steps.
attention to
Mhm.
myself. And most of all, I found myself paying attention to the things that I say before I try to listen to what I'm saying before they come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
That is something most people don't take the time to do.
Well, I want to jump in and just teach everybody something as well that I have used actually throughout my life. My husband, my beloved that I'm married to, that's looking right now. Hey, boo. I know that a man thinks with the left side of his brain and a woman thinks with the right.
Mm.
So knowing that, we have to learn how to meet each other in the middle.
What that mean?
What that means is sometimes I still go through, because I'm kind of a newlywed still to me. It's just been 6 years, and the first 2 I didn't like him and he didn't like me. so I'm still going, hey, that's not what I meant. So I'm having to explain things to him to where he understands what I'm saying, and he's learning to explain things to me so that I can understand what he's saying. But that takes some patience.
Well, I got a lot of those, but my thing is, it's like when we first got married, she would come home writing along stuff I never heard that word before. What the heck is she talking about? And she just telling me about her day and all the patients and everything, what they had, and how she had to handle this situation. And I'm just looking at her like, I don't get nothing. She just like, she just basically. And but that wasn't enough for me. I had to go and understand. I had to learn what she was talking about. So I went and enrolled myself in the randomization department at Duke Hospital, and I started randomizing cardiac patients, and that's how I learned the different terminologies and different things that
so that you can have a better. But that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's going the extra mile.
Yeah.
So that your mate will so that you can have a common ground.
But she didn't know.
No.
Oh, well, that's sweet. That makes it even sweeter.
I just wanted to say, so my husband came up here, and it's funny what you're saying. So I'm gonna apply for PA school, and so he helped me with a lot, with a lot of. Thank you, Tony. He helped me with a lot. So yeah, like, can I come in there? Yeah, no, you come in. But I just wanted to say that, just like what you did, and then what we homeschooled about 4 years, and we brought our son and into everything, but everything that I wanted to do, or he went to school, he became an electrician, and he was so happy. So then I did it. So I was like, oh, you happy? I want to be happy with you. So that was something that I did it for him, kind of like that, but
right.
But I did it as well for myself, and I did it for our marriage, and he did the same thing with me in medicine.
Well, that's what medicine, that's what marriage is about.
Yeah.
You're each other's helpmeet
Yeah.
and companion, and you're each other's completer.
Mhm.
And so that was a very much a surprise, because there was one night I did come home early. And he's like, I have to go to work. I'm like, where are you going? And he says, I'm going to the randomization center. I said, now, you need to stop. You need to stop.
She don't believe it. I'll be telling her, and she don't believe it. I said, listen, you're making me late. I don't I'll call you when I get there.
Well, that was really sweet, though.
But I was doing it for 3 months. I think like 3 months. And because that's how much she worked. So I was working at another job for 3 months, but outside of doing my clothing business. And
you didn't even know.
And and I was like, listen, I got to go work.
Talk about trust.
Wow.
What you said, that's a whole nother story. I do want to tell people this, for those who are single or those who are married and you think you're tired and this, that, and the other. A couple of things. Number one, a covenant is the only thing that God created that is not seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
That we just can't quit. Number one. Number two, love is a choice. I tell people when I'm getting ready to marry them and I am counseling them, I tell them, don't expect to be in love every day.
That's right.
Again, because we're two imperfect people trying to create the great mystery of being one. And so I think that when we start having healthier families, I think that's what we're missing a lot of, and what's going on with the children and that sort of thing. And I just want everybody to survive. And I want everybody to live an abundant life. We have God's permission and authority to live an abundant life. And I'm not talking about having a whole lot of money. I'm talking about possessing things that money cannot buy.
Right.
But you have to be intentional.
A lot of people feel that it's dollars and cents, and it's not. And I personally have, I like doing what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed working in the field that I was in, and it wasn't for the money. My thing, I would always tell my guys, I want to see you. I made sure that they had an hourly plus commission, whichever was greater, and I knew the commission would be greater if they did the work. So you're not supposed to just get paid just because I'm here. You do the work. Let me see you do the work so you can get greater revenue, and I want to see you win. So the way I have my financial pay set up is that you would always win if you did the work.
Well, that's a whole nother story right there. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell you guys, this time goes by entirely too fast. Well, it just goes by entirely too fast. Subject. However,
you changed.
I know, because the Holy Spirit moves. We gotta move where the Holy Spirit moves.
I got you,
Mr. Gresham.
I feel you. So let me say this.
I was gonna say, what would you like to say?
Well, I like to thank all my doctors, because I still got a whole lot of them, and my nursing staff was awesome. They were great, except for one. We won't go into that, but it's always one. But I had a great staff. I had the opportunity. What got me is that I could not see faces because it was COVID, and everybody had masks on. So I tried to remember everybody by their eyes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when they walked in the room, I got their name, and I would remember it by their eyes. And there's one nurse walked in my room, and I couldn't remember her. And I was like, I know you. She said, you know me? I said, I know you. I know you by your voice. And you never been in my room. And she said, really? I said, yeah. I said, why do I know you? She said, I sat with you all night when you came in. I talked to you when you were in your coma and told you were going to be all right.
And you remember the voice.
And I remember their voice talking to me.
Well,
it was pretty powerful.
Dr. Gresham, you want to close out in these last 30 seconds?
I don't think there's much to say, but we're appreciative. We're grateful. And every day we live a life to please God. That's before I put my feet on the ground, I say a prayer every morning that Lord, just use me. Give me the words, let the words of my mouth and meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight.
Well, you guys, it's your girl Sonia G here on the Talk Box. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. And remember, you have the authority to live an abundant life. God bless, and you have a great day.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, listening to the Talk Box side. Yeah, listening to the Talk Box. Let's talk about it.